Now, thank you very much for joining our MSc programs at our DAIM Centre. DAIM stands for our Data Science, Artificial Intelligence and Modelling Centre of Excellence here at the University of Hull. My name is Alex. I'm very pleased to be joined today by various members of staff and students from our Centre of Excellence. What we will do is we'll just wait a moment just for more people to get logged in, and then I will be very happy to hand over to our presenters today. Just while we're waiting, I would like to say that if you do have any questions at all today for our panel, please feel free to send those via the Q&A function. And what we will do is at the end of today's webinar, once we've finished the presentation, we'll be able to pose any questions to our panel who'll be very happy to answer those for you. And if you do have to drop out at any point, please don't worry, as we will be able to send a recording of today's webinar to you today. Okay, so first of all, my name is Alex. I work in the international recruitment team, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by three different members of our DAIM Centre here at the University of Hull. We are joined by Danny Farrow, Adil Khan, and Javon Westcar. What I will do is I will switch off my camera and microphone for the moment. I'll hand over to Danny, Adil, and Javon to introduce themselves, and please take it away.
Okay, I'll go first then. So I'm Dr. Daniel Farrow. I'm the program director for the MSc programs at DAIM. Yeah, thank you for joining us. It's very nice to see you here. I'll hand over to Adil.
Thank you, Danny. I'm Adil Khan. I'm a professor of artificial intelligence and the director of DAIM at University of Hull. Once again, thank you for joining us today.
And I'm Javon Westcar. I'm a PhD student here, and I've also pursued the MSc in AI and data science. So I'll be here to share a bit of my experience with you. Thank you.
So I guess we can move on to the next slide. So over the next few slides, I will be briefly introducing you to what DAIM is all about, starting with artificial intelligence and data science. That's precisely the reason you guys are here with us today. So next slide, please. So let's begin with what is happening in industry. So this is some of the latest trends from World Economic Forum's the latest report where they analyze what industries value at the moment, where they will be in the future, what kind of skills are more important, what new jobs are being created, what jobs are disappearing, etc. So I've summarized, we have summarized that report along 4 dimensions for you. So if we look at the total number of jobs that will be created or displaced over the next few years, then that's a very huge number, somewhere about 78 million. And when you explore that number further, you see that in total, there will be 170 million new jobs and 92 million jobs that will disappear or get displaced. And when you dig deeper into what might be leading to these new trends, then these are the skills in artificial intelligence and big data. So in future, the industry would value a lot two very important, the merger of two or intersection of two very important skills. One are the tech skills, which are AI and big data, and the other are human-centered skills, which are creativity and resilience, meaning that the educational programs that promise cutting-edge education in AI should not just focus on the technical bits of it, but also how to integrate the technical skills with human skills. And that's what is DAIM, our Center of Excellence, is all about. So the key thing to take away from this research is that because of the impact of AI and data science, jobs are shifting, they are not disappearing, meaning roles are being changed into new roles that require people to work with AI and tools that are built on AI. So it is not AI that would replace or that is going to replace people. It is the people with knowledge of AI that might replace those that do not have an understanding of AI or do not know how to use AI in their job. Next, next slide, please. So that is what DAIM is all about. Um, it is a center of excellence in the sense that it delivers cutting edge education in AI for everybody. And that's why our programs are convergent programs, ensuring that everybody or anybody can benefit from our AI education, because AI is impacting or influencing not just one sector, but every sector out there. And that means that people from any background can and should learn about AI. So this sort of education requires a couple of things to come together. One of those things is cutting edge infrastructure, and that's what DAIMS at building our labs at University of Hull promise. So they have cutting edge computers and other facilities that enable us and our students to learn and upskill themselves in the domain of AI, create and work with big data, create bigger models that can manage and work with those data sets, and ensure that better practices are put in place to get the maximum generalizations out of those bigger models trained on bigger data sets. So that's what DAIM is. It's a 4.5 million funding-based center that was established a couple of years ago, and that has already influenced the job market and academic market in the UK and internationally. That is apparent from what we saw a couple of time ago by a report published by one of the best tech-oriented company in the UK. Next slide, which is Currys. So they're one of the best, or I should say one of the biggest market seller when it comes to technological products like computers and other tech products. And one of the things that they did a couple of months ago is to analyze what is UK's role in creating new AI educational programs, and what sort of universities are the major players when it comes to delivering these programs. And their research found that our university, and more specifically our Center of Excellence in Data Science, AI, and Modeling, has enrolled the highest number of students in 2022 and 2023, even higher than Edinburgh and Bradford. So this excellence in delivery of AI education is thanks to all the infrastructure that I talked about in the previous slide. And the next slide, thanks to our research expertise. So the staff at DAIM, we are not just experts in theoretical underpinnings of AI. We are also, we have uh, quite a wide variety of interdisciplinary skills when it comes to applying AI into different disciplines, starting from healthcare to physics and engineering, all the way to geospatial and humanities. So this research active staff brings that advanced understanding of what AI is, what its limitations are, what its strengths are, that then enables us to create very effective programs that on one side that are very nicely balanced, in the sense that on one side they cover the basic foundations, and on the other end they teach students how to apply those basic foundations in diverse different application domains, ensuring that the impact is not limited to just theory but also applied aspects as well. So that brings me to then the next slide, which is talking a little bit more about our programs. And at this stage, I'll invite my colleague Daniel to come in and share more details with you.
Yeah, thank you, Adil. So I'm the program director for the MSCs here. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give you an idea of the different types of things you could study with us. So DAIM has a variety of MSc programs. Here are listed our top postgraduate programs. So we have several different programs aimed at students from science or non-science backgrounds. So for these are the true conversion courses. They're open to people who meet the requirements, but who don't necessarily have to be scientists. So just to list them, we have our main Artificial Intelligence and Data Science MSc. This is our general course. And then we have more specialist MScs in Artificial Intelligence paired with things like healthcare, business, and geospatial data analysis. For those of you who do have a bit of a science background, we also have a more specialist MSc Artificial Intelligence for Engineering, which is designed for people who have a bit more of a science background in their first degree. So I'm just going to take some time to go through the different options here. So the overall course structure of the degree looks a little bit like this. So all of our taught programs have this similar structure. So we have 6 taught modules delivered in the first 2 trimesters. So the university year is split up into 3 trimesters. Each trimester is, roughly 4 months. So in the first 2 trimesters, you'll do taught modules, and then in the 3rd trimester, you'll do the MSc project. And there are a few core modules which are taught regardless of what you're studying, regardless of which degree program you choose, okay? So these core modules are called Introduction to Programming, Understanding Artificial Intelligence, and Research and Applications in Artificial Intelligence. And all of the programs also have a project, an original research project in the 3rd trimester. So now let me just go into some more detail about what's taught in the individual programs. So in Introduction to Programming, in the Introduction to Programming module, you will learn Python for absolute beginners. A common question that we often get is, do I already need to computer program before I come? But you don't. So the Python module is designed for beginners. It's designed to teach from scratch. And you'll learn how to handle data in that module a little bit, and you'll learn a little bit about data visualization in that module as well. So we teach the Python programming language because it's one of the most popular programming language for AI and data science applications. It's also something you often see in, for example, job adverts. It's a skill that people are looking for when they're looking to employ data science or AI experts. We also have a module called Understanding AI, which is taught in all the programs. Understanding AI is your first introduction to artificial intelligence. So it's learning about the basics of it. It's understanding what artificial neural networks are. It's the basic ideas of some of the key concepts of AI, things like unsupervised learning and supervised learning, and also how you measure how well an AI model is working. In research and application in data science and AI, you'll learn some key research skills that will prepare you for the final project in the 3rd trimester. You'll also help develop a project proposal for that trimester, and there'll be some content from different applications of AI and data science. Yeah. I'll move on. Okay, then in the final trimester, you'll do an MSc research project. Okay, so the MSc research project is a 12-week project. It should be student-led, but you will be supervised. And if you're doing a specialist program, if you're doing the engineering variant or the healthcare variant, your project should also be focused in that domain. Doing a project like this is really great. Again, having a data science project you can talk about that, or AI project that you can talk about in job interviews, is something that's really valuable. It's also, again, gives you experience, really hands-on experience. There's a lot of hands-on learning, a lot of learning by doing in this course. This gives you a brilliant example of that. There's usually a selection of projects that you can choose from. You're also, in many cases, it's possible to develop your own project. And in some cases, we even have projects with external partners, so industry partners, where you can work on data from them as well. But not every student will be able to work with an external third party, but we often offer those types of projects to a subset of the students. Okay. So that's the core content that's delivered regardless of which of the MSc programs you choose. Okay. Now I will talk about what you get taught in each of the different versions of the MSc. So in the main version of the MSc, the general version, MSc Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, It's these three modules: fundamentals of data science, big data and data mining, and applied AI that you get taught on top of the regular core content that I already discussed. In fundamentals of data science, you'll learn about the fundamentals of data science, so the context of data science, how to manage data, some introductory statistical approaches to data, and you'll learn more about data analysis and data visualization. In the module Applied AI, you'll learn more sophisticated AI techniques. So you'll learn some really very useful and really interesting and very important concepts in artificial intelligence. So things like natural language processing, attention and transformers. So transformers are the AI architecture that underpins things like ChatGPT, for example. You'll also see more real-world applications, and you'll learn a little bit about computer vision by studying a type of AI model known as convolutional neural network. So these are some of the more sophisticated AI models that you might use in a future career or further research. In big data and data mining, you'll learn about databases. So another key skill of a data scientist to be able to work with databases. So you'll learn that there. You'll learn for how to look for patterns in data. This is something very useful for identifying what products might be popular, for example, from a data set gathered from an online platform. That's just one application of that. Whenever you have large data sets, there are techniques for looking for patterns in them, and some of those techniques are taught in this. You'll also look at clustering. This is an unsupervised learning technique which groups similar bits of data together. So, for example, it could be finding similar clusters to each other who might have similar interests or other similarities in data. You look at time series analysis. Analyzing time series is very important for things like predicting what share prices might be in the next 6 months, or predicting anything which has a dependence on time. And you'll also look at network analysis. Network analysis is, if you think of social media networks, it's understanding how people or things are connected to each other in a network. If you decide instead of taking the main variant to go for the MSc Artificial Intelligence for Healthcare variant, you'll be taught fundamentals of data science still, but in the second year, instead of big data and applied AI, you'll do 2 modules that are healthcare specific. One is medical imaging and AI, and another one is called AI as a medical device. So for medical imaging and AI, AI has lots of uses in medical imaging in terms of looking at, images of MRIs or CT scans and using AI models to interpret them. So in medical imaging and AI, you'll learn about things like CT, MRIs, ultrasound. You'll learn about image processing, and you'll also learn some of the fundamental concepts of medical imaging as well. In AI as a medical device, so AI as a medical device is the sort of the trade term for this type of thing. It's about how you develop and evaluate AI models for medical applications. So you look at different machine learning and deep learning techniques that could be applied in the healthcare sector. You'll look into different considerations you need to make when designing AI models. For example, optimizing performance to try and meet clinical needs. And you'll also look at the requirements for translational qualitative considerations. So things like the need for evidence generation and the requirements for getting an AI device adopted into a healthcare system. Because, of course, healthcare is a very, important and sensitive area. So there's a lot of requirements, a lot of careful thinking you need to complete before it's possible to deploy an AI model in a healthcare setting, and that's something that's taught on this module as well. If you're more interested in business, if you want to have a more business speciality, new as of this January 26, we have the new MSc Artificial Intelligence for Business course. In MSc Artificial Intelligence for Business, you get 2 bespoke modules of business content as well as a business themed project. The first of these bespoke modules is called AI for Marketing and Sales, and the other is called Big Data for Business. In MSc AI for Marketing and Scales, sales. You'll learn how to develop things like chatbots and conversational AI for consumer engagement. Okay, this is, something that's quite popular amongst businesses. You'll look at things like dynamic pricing and predictive analytics, and things like forecasting sales. You'll learn customer segmentation. Again, this is an unsupervised learning method where you kind of split your customers into groups based on their interests using data science techniques. You look at recommendation engines. So this is, if you're watching an online streaming platform and if you watch one TV show, it recommends different TV shows. You'll look at how you can develop systems like that and make them better. And you'll also look at sentiment analysis and natural language processing, which are very important for things like analyzing textual data, looking for trends or looking for overall sentiment towards, like, I don't know, a particular product or a particular idea. In big data for business, you'll have an introduction to the key concepts of big data. So things like velocity, veracity, volume, value, and variety. You'll look at exploratory and causal analytics, which is part of a sort of an important part of using data science techniques for business. You look at different storage platforms for storing data for businesses. You look at data mining, which is where you try and get sort of useful insights, helpful information for a business from a data set. And you'll also look at web scraping, where you automatically get information from websites in order to again, make good business decisions. And then you'll look at how big data is applied in business and how things like time series analysis are applied in business. Then, if you have more of a science background, so if you already have a degree that's in a science subject and you want something more aimed towards scientists or in particular engineers, you could consider MSc Artificial Intelligence for Engineering. Okay, so in MSc Artificial Intelligence for Engineering, it's another 2 bespoke modules of engineering content. The first one is delivered in the first trimester, replacing the fundamentals of data science, and it's called Numerical Methods for Engineering. And then in the second trimester, you'll get a module called AI-Driven Modeling and Control, and then you will do an engineering-themed project for the third trimester. So in Numerical Methods for Engineering, you'll actually learn some of the key mathematics that is very useful for engineers. So this is why we'd expect students for this course to have a more sciencey or mathematical background, because we do actually teach a bit of maths in one of the modules on this course. So you look at systems of linear and nonlinear algebraic equations. You look at eigenvalue problems. You look at how to interpolate data and how to fit curves. You look at how to differentiate and integrate, and you look at ordinary differential equations. Okay, so all of these are very important mathematical concepts for engineering. All right, yeah, this is why this course is also just advertised towards people who already have that science background, so they can learn some interesting maths related to engineering. Then in the second trimester, you'll do a module called AI-Driven Optimization and Control. This is where you'll learn a lot about reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is useful for things like robotics. It's also useful for things like self-driving cars, right? So you look at different methods of control, you look at AI-driven control, and you look at applications of AI-driven control. So this is things like using AI to guide a spacecraft, to guide a car, to guide an airplane, to guide some sort of robot, right? So this is the type of stuff you will cover in this module. We also have an MSc Artificial Intelligence for Geospatial Data Analysis. This is again open to students from a variety of backgrounds. This is about using AI for geospatial data analysis. So this is things like geoinformation science, which is useful for using AI to sort of look at map data to deal with things in that area, and also things like Earth observation as well. So there are 2 bespoke modules here. One of them is Fundamentals of Geospatial Data and Earth Observation, and the other one is Spatiotemporal Big Data Analytics. And as always, you'll do an MSc project in this theme. So looking into fundamentals of geospatial data and Earth observation, you'll learn about sensors, maybe sensors that you would get on an Earth orbiting satellite. You'd learn about digital image processing. You'll learn how you model spatial data. So, think about data on a map, for example, and you'll learn more about data visualization. So how you would visualize sort of this type of data as well. In spatio-temporal big data analytics, you'll have an introduction to it. You'll learn how to do exploratory data analysis with data sets like that. And then you look at some applications, and there are some really interesting applications to this. For example, in things like urban sustainability management. Okay, so sort of urban type data is something which could be covered in this module. So that gives you an overview of the multiple different MSc courses that might interest you, as well as the types of things which are included in each of the courses. So now let me talk about, if you did decide to come here, what would the education look like? What would your experience as a student look like? So typically in the first few trimesters, you'd have about 8 hours of study timetabled on campus. Traditionally, because we want to, make it possible for students to fit their studies around other parts of their life, we try and put all of the teaching on 1 day per week. We might not always be able to guarantee that, but historically, normally most of the teaching is in 1 day, so you can do all of your classes in one of the days, okay? Then, as well as the study in class, you'd be expected to do about 27 hours, so about full-time course of study at home, but we'll give you some ideas of what you can study. And if you get stuck, all of the teaching staff are friendly. They will answer questions about how you can try and study outside of class. And also the majority of our courses, the majority of our lab time will be in the DAIM lab building, this 4.5 million teaching lab. And a lot of the work will be hands-on. So there will be some lectures, but a lot of the talk content is done by sort of hands-on programming exercises in our very nice DAIM laboratory. In the final trimester, when you do your project, you'll get one meeting with a supervisor, a professional supervisor per week, who will help guide you through the project. You'd be expected to still be working full-time during the week on that project. One nice thing, you'll have access to the DAIM building as well, but if you want to use the computers in there, but another nice thing is if you have a big project which needs a lot of data, a lot of computer processing power, and we've also in the past granted access to the Viper supercomputer, which we have on campus, so you might get the chance of using that. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what your studying would look like if you did decide to come here. Now, why might you want to choose the University of Hull, for example, as opposed to other universities offering courses? Okay, so one nice thing about Hull is one of the UK's most affordable cities. So this is based on this student living cost calculator. So living in the city of Hull is a very affordable choice for many people. And Hull isn't just an affordable place; it's also, a nice place to visit. So here is an image of the town, and actually, the National Geographic magazine, in a very recent article, has called Hull one of the best places in the world, to travel to in 2026. Okay, so it's also, a nice place to live and a nice place to visit. The University of Hull has a history of academic excellence. So the university is one of the oldest universities in the country. It was founded in 1927. It's the 14th oldest university in England. And, we have quite a lot of students, and we also have a lot of international students and a lot of experience teaching international students. As well as just being quite a historic university in a nice place, our teaching has also been rated extremely highly. So the University of Hull was awarded an overall gold rating for teaching for the Teaching Excellence Framework. So this is the highest possible you can get for the quality of our teaching. So, you know, you also have that reassurance. And also another indicator of, you know, how successful our teaching and our course could be is to maybe look at what some of the students have produced during their studies. So some of our students, of course, it's always a minority of the very best students, but some of our students have actually published the results of what they were studying here. So, for example, we have students who've published work on looking at platelets and generative adversarial network-based AI-generated images of them. There's also looks like a natural language type processing thing. This is also in the healthcare sector. It's also published by one of our former students, and this is another recent preprint paper by a DAIM student and their supervisors using RAG. So this is about generating text in an efficient way and a useful way from an AI model. So, you know, some of our students have gone on to publish, which is really great. So what are the entry requirements for our course? So the full entry requirements for the course you can get off the course websites, but to give you an idea of what the entry requirements are, for all of the variants except engineering, we'd expect a 2.2 or equivalent undergraduate degree. You need either experience in your degree in you know, numerical topics, in statistical topics, in programming, or in data science. So we do need a little bit of experience there. And then, yeah, you might need to do a personal statement about your coding or numeracy skills as well, depending on how the application goes. We have some IELTS English language requirements as well. For the MSc AI for engineering, okay, you need a 2.2 again, but it has to be in a numerical STEM subject, all right? So if you remember, the engineering one has a module with some quite sophisticated mathematics in it, and that's why if you want to study AI for engineering, you'll need to have an engineering or a physics or a mathematics or a chemistry degree, or a degree in, you know, a numerical area, okay? Do please follow us on social media. I can leave this slide up. I'll put this slide up at the end, but we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We've got a Project Spotlight series. So if you want to give us a follow and have a look at some of our videos, that would be great. It would also tell you a little bit more about what we're doing at the university. And that brings me to the end so that we can start the Q&A session. So thank you everyone for listening. And what I'll do is I'll bring back the page of QR codes so that while we're answering questions, you can, you know, subscribe to some of those and look us up on social media. All right, thank you very much. I will hand back to Alex, I think, if she wants to.
I think, yeah, we are going to invite Jivon now.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. Okay.
Yes, I was about to say the same thing. Jivon, would you like to start talking about your own experiences of being a University of Hull student?
Okay, no problem, no problem. So should I share the slides I have? Maybe not. All right, so I started my MSc in 2021, right? At that time, data science was dubbed as the hottest job. And, you know, it was the rave. Everybody was, you know, really interested in it. One of the things that was really important to me at the time was I knew that AI was taking off at the same time, like the emphasis on AI was just starting to come in. And realizing one of the things that made me decide on Hull was seeing that they had data science, but artificial intelligence was also merged into that program. And because of that, I really said, you know what, this might be one of the things I really want to focus on. Bits of background from me, I'm from a computer science background. So there are a lot of things in, we'd say, this course that were quite familiar. So working with Python, that kind of thing, it was very familiar for me. However, there were things that were not so familiar with me. So, you know, the emphasis on needing to, like how you write, how you use data to build your argument, that kind of thing, that was a bit more challenging. So I think coming into this course, I just expected this smooth ride and it would just be easy because I'm from a computer science background. But I realized I really had to dig deep and find that grit to do the extra work that was needed to really put things on another level. So after pursuing the course, doing all these modules, and I graduated, an opportunity came up to pursue a PhD in data science here at the University of Hull. And I was like, absolutely, I'm jumping into this. I mean, in hindsight now, doing a PhD is really quite a commitment, but it really is quite fulfilling. It's mainly focused in that geospatial field. So earlier, Danny spoke a bit about, the whole geospatial aspect that is being offered now. That wasn't offered when I was doing my MSc at the time. I did the general flavor of the course, and now I'm able to use the knowledge I got from that general course to funnel my way into the research I'm doing now, which centers around looking on clean air zones and developing algorithms for fair allocation of air quality sensors. I'm also currently a graduate teaching assistant. So what that means is when you who've applied to the course, once you join the course, when you do all these modules that Danny has spoken about, the artificial intelligence, all these things, there will come times when there's some things that you don't really understand. I'll be there and many other PhD students who will give you one-to-one assistance with all of the problems that you're having. So whether that be programming, whether that be building a module, whatever it is, once we're in class time and we're assigned on that day, you can guarantee that we'll do everything in our power to be able to explain to you every single concept that you have and that you've experienced in this module. We've been working together for quite some time. I've done some demonstrations with Danny as well and quite a few other lecturers. So I can guarantee that they will also be there to assist you to explain these concepts, because one of the things I've noticed in being a GTA or just talking to people who've pursued this MSc in general, some people are very afraid because they've never done programming before. And it's really disheartening thinking I'm in this big, wide AI field and there's nobody to help me. I don't think I can do it. What I can guarantee you, I've been a GTA for 3 years now. You definitely can do it. The fact that you signed up for this is something that you have the core strength to be able to pull off. So as Danny said before, he mentioned 27 hours that will be required personally from you to invest in the course. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You need to read a lot. You need to study a lot, especially if you're not from a background where you're accustomed to some of these things. It will take a lot of hands-on experience, a lot of work from your side. And if you don't have the background now, it's fine, but you have to agree, you must determine in yourself to put the work in that's required for moving forward. Remember, this is an MSc, so there's a lot that will be expected from you in terms of personal development. Living on campus, when I just got here, I'm an international student. Let me just put that out there as well. So when I just got here, I lived on campus. It was a great experience. I had my own room, shared bathroom, and shared kitchen with other people. When I was reading online, I saw a lot of things, not for Hull, but just universities in general. It was about people stealing things from fridges and that kind of stuff, and I was really scared coming to the UK for the first time. But when I came here, I had none of those issues. As a matter of fact, people were quite nice, and in general, it was a very good experience. So living on campus, beautiful experience for me. Really, really loved it. Afterwards, I moved off campus to where I am now. And there are tons of options if you're coming in and you're not sure. You can check out places like rightmove.co.uk, ashcourt.com, all these places, University Quarter, they will help to get you accommodation. So if you're worried about moving in, that kind of stuff, trust me, you'll be fine. All this information can be provided to you afterwards, as Danny has also mentioned. And I'll say finally, in just wrapping up, get involved. I know the MSc is it's taxing, especially if you haven't done this before, but there are so many opportunities you can get involved in on campus. While I was a student, well, I'm still a student, but during the MSc, there were things I got involved in, like being a student ambassador, you know, finding a club, finding a sport, some activity. Go online, there's jobs.hull.ac.uk where different jobs that are available for students pop up. So one of the things I've been involved in is being a student caller, and I've done that for almost all the years I've been here. It's a great experience. I've gotten the opportunity to speak to so many past students, people who've done PhDs as well, and understand their experience. So it's a great experience. And also attend career fairs and those kinds of things. Another thing, finally, I'll mention before turning over into the Q&A, is that DAIM will frequently send out emails regarding opportunities. So quite recently, there was an opportunity that came up for Amazon, who were looking for people doing optimization, that kind of thing in artificial intelligence. So if you're concerned about will there be job opportunities, will there be things, DAIM will send those things out, so you will be able to see them. Check out the whole employability awards as well. And if you have any further questions, definitely get in contact with Danny, get in contact with Adil. We as the GTAs will do all in our power to help you. So once again, it was great speaking with you, and I hope you all have a good experience coming here to the university.
Javon, thank you so much. That was
No problem.
wonderful. You gave a really great overview about your time as a student here at the University of Hull, and it was really, really great. And it actually will have answered many questions that I think our students will generally have about studying in the UK, especially if it is their first time moving abroad to study. Now, I would just like to say to our audience, if you've got any questions, please do submit those via the Q&A button, and our panel will be very happy to answer those. I've got a question straight off the bat, which is quite a general question as well for many of our incoming international students, and it is sort of regarding careers and employability. Now, it's sort of been touched upon anyway in today's presentation and with what Javon has just said as well. But generally, I guess we could maybe start with you, Javon, to ask, did you look for part-time work while you were a student, and how easy was it to do that? And what did you use to do that, basically?
Okay, that's a great question. So, just generally walking around campus, there are flyers that are put up for different opportunities. The student caller job was a part-time opportunity. That let's just be honest, it paid quite okay. And it was really fulfilling. I got to speak to so many past students. It was really great experience. Whenever the opportunity comes up, I definitely do it. There are a ton of, as I said, career fairs. If you check out Student Futures when you get here, there will be so many different opportunities that are available. You have many companies that come in, Reckitt, all these other companies, they come in and they'll have a chat with you, and you can send them an email the same way we have the QR codes here. You can scan and you can get involved in a lot of different opportunities. So if you want to, the opportunities are there and they're easy to find. That has been my experience at least.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Javon. And
No
then
problem.
Danny and Adil, I don't know if you'd be able to maybe talk about maybe the graduate employability sort of opportunities for students who study with DAME.
Yeah, sure. So, the jobs, they generally come from various factors. So one factor is the place where you are. Is there any kind of development happening in that region that then, dictates what the future of jobs would be like? So from that perspective, I'm also new to Hull. I came here 2.5 years ago, and I would touch upon the affordability aspect later on. But I did find this to be a very rapidly developing region, a lot of digitization happening. And that digitization is what connects, to our programs. So they are based on computer science, and then they're further based on AI and machine learning and deep learning, the kind of technologies that are fundamental to making digitization possible. So it's a very rapidly developing region, a lot of digitization happening, a lot of other initiatives related to energy, shipping, and other aspects are around us that kind of makes it possible for people to find jobs, within Hull without going beyond Hull. So one aspect is the region. The other aspect is the program. The program is based on the future skills, which are AI and machine learning that I have simply mentioned earlier. So because our programs, they not only cover the fundamentals of these very high in demand technologies, but also teach how they can be applied in a variety of different domains. And that is what makes it possible for students to then go and find jobs no matter in which discipline or where the job might arise. If it is related to data, if it is related to analyzing data, if it is related to modeling, which most of the jobs today are, and they come from all kinds of different employers, make it possible for our students to have high job prospects. So I'll say that because Hull is a rapidly developing region, digitization happening, there's push from private, public sector alike, and the fact that we teach very relevant skills and teach not just what they are and how they can be applied is what makes job prospects high.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And Danny, I don't know if you've got anything more to talk about, maybe any examples of what our graduates have gone on to do once they've graduated.
Yeah, so another thing I will say is that we also have a dedicated careers service at the University of Hull. So they're professional careers advisors who can give advice and guidance on things like writing a CV and looking for a job. So yeah, our students, some of our students have done a range of things. So some of them have gone on to work in like professional data science related jobs as well. I mean, and we have a good example here right now, right? Because Jevon is now doing a PhD in data science after completing his MSc, and he's not the only one of our students who've done an MSc and then gone on to do a PhD. We also have a former MSc student who is now doing some research in a healthcare related area. Jevon, you might also know some graduates, what types of jobs they've gone on to.
Right, right. So just to chime in, after I finished my program, there were people who got onto internships with Ford. There are people who got jobs at places like Barclays. So people are getting high profile, and these are in data science. So I'm not talking about getting an accounting job in some disconnected field. They're actual data science fields or related opportunities. Even for others of us on the PhD program itself, people are getting really, for reasons I can't get into where, but people have gotten onto really good internship programs as a result of being a part of this program. So I've seen quite a few success stories. I myself being a part of this program, it's because we've gotten good tutelage from our lecturers here, and we've built great relationships. So the prospects are there. Danny touched on a very important topic, especially for international students. When you get here, please get your resume checked. What works in your country might not work here. I know it was a big shock for me. I was coming from, where I was coming from, how the resumes work is not how it works here. Your experience is valuable, so list your experience on your resume. But all that kind of thing is here. The assistance is here. People give you one-to-one assistance in all these things. So you don't have to worry about it. Sign up, click the button, just say yes, and we'll be able to help you once you get here.
Thank you so much. That was a really great overview from all three of you about employability and how our students can really help themselves to get onto their future dream career. So that was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so next question that we've got a couple of questions from the audience, and please do continue to submit these questions because our panel will love to answer them. So this is a question from Ahmed. So thank you for your question, asking, is it possible for students to switch to a different pathway after the first trimester if they find that their interests evolve? Now, I guess this would potentially depend especially with the engineering program, that will be specific to students with an engineering background. But would it be possible, for example, for a data science student to maybe switch to our business program? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so yeah, you're exactly right, Alex. So the geospatial variant and the engineering variant, I think that's all of them. They have a trimester one module, which is specialist that you would need to do. Okay, so in those cases, you wouldn't be able to switch. Um, Unless you switch very, very early on after you arrive. So not at the end of the first trimester, but in the first week or two of term, if you decided something else would be more your style before the teaching on it starts, there's still opportunity to switch. For healthcare, or the healthcare variant and the business variant, yes, you could potentially switch during trimester one. I wouldn't necessarily leave it to right at the end of trimester one because it might take a little bit of time to process any changes, but it is possible to switch between the two. The reason why we have specializations instead of just having optional modules, there are a few arguments for this. One is that sometimes the specialist modules, they support one another or they lead on from one another. So so you need to go through some particular routes. And the other thing is across the whole program, we have to make sure that you meet a certain range of competencies. This is how the degree works. You'll learn key competencies, things like communicating data science, or solving problems, competencies like this. And we have to make sure you cover all of them. And that means that, you have to cover a certain number of modules when you study. Yes, I think that covers everything. Thanks.
Brilliant. Yes, that definitely does cover them. Thank you very much. So hopefully that's answered that question. And we have got another question from Ahmed. So thank you for this question as well. He asks, how does the program ensure that students gain practical, up-to-date industry skills and the flexibility to focus on areas most relevant to their career goals? So that's quite a complex question. But I think basically what Ahmed is saying is that, as we're aware, AI is constantly evolving. So how do our programs here at the University of Hull match that evolution, I guess I could say?
Do you want to go first, Adel?
Yeah, so you can go in more detail from how we operationally, make it possible. But at the very high level, we are, as I mentioned at the very beginning of my presentation, is we are not just a teaching, institute. We are a research institute as well. And research means that staying ahead of the curve, creating new knowledge, filling in gaps that exist, looking at the limitations of things and improving them, and that's what we do, both at the fundamental side as well as applied side. And that research enables us to ensure that we are teaching cutting edge skills to our students as well. And on the other side, we are constantly in touch with industry. What we do is we do wonderful KTPs, knowledge transfer programs, which then helps us understand what the industry really needs in terms of not just the current needs, but also in future. And that then also gets reflected into our programs. So that close connection with industrial partners and staying ahead of the curve through our research is what then channels into making our programs cutting edge. Danny?
Yeah, so I would first entirely agree with Adil. This is the ideal of universities, right? The research-led teaching, where there are active researchers at the university. There are these knowledge transfer partnerships, and this is what's informing the course design. I'll add a little bit more. So, for example, in our healthcare variant, we have people who have worked with organisations like the NHS. We have people who are collaborating with the Hull Medical School on campus. Yeah, so we've got people who are very active in that area of research. I'm personally, publishing papers in a variety of things using AI models. Also recently, also in the healthcare field with Dr. Will Jones, who's one of the lecturers on the health area as well. In terms of learning practical hands-on skills, the course is very practical. So there's lots and lots of work in labs. A lot of coursework, most of the assessment is coursework. So there'll be lots of opportunities to develop things and solve sort of real world problems. In terms of targeting a particular area, this could be something you could do by being careful with your choice of the final research project. So that final research project that you do is basically a whole trimester full of actually doing research. So that's a great way of gaining additional practical skills as well. So yeah, the course is extremely hands-on and informed by research and by, our experience as researchers and in some cases people who are working with these industry partners and other partners of the university.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that response. Hopefully that does answer Ahmed's question. He has just sent one final question, I think. And this might be putting you both on the spot asking this question, but he's asked whether there will be any plans to introduce any learning about cloud ecosystem. I'm not sure if there are any plans for that at present.
Okay, I will start on that first. So, you have to understand that there are various avenues where learning happens. Some of the learning happens within the modules. Some of the learning happens, at self-learning, stage. And some of the learning, which is one of the most critical learning, in my opinion, happens as you do your projects. And as Danny mentioned, we get a large body of students with various different interests. Some of the students prefer to do filling in gap kind of project where they look with supervisors into a particular domain to understand what is missing and what can be done new. That means that either looking at a problem that hasn't been solved before and that is then solved by applying AI, or looking at a model that has limitations within a certain domain and improving that model slightly a little bit because we have a very short time span. We get very good students, but short time span. That is what then limits the scope of the contribution. And that kind of projects, they don't require cloud ecosystems or etc. But when you're looking from an industrial point of view, where you are aiming to not just build a model, but deploy that model, have end users interact with that model, build that model in a way that iteration happens more smoothly and more synchronously, right? That's where these kind of ecosystems, they come into play. And we use those particular, opportunities to then help students learn about those ecosystems as well. So it's not the case that we don't touch them at all. We do touch them where the need is, depending upon what sort of a project a student chooses and in what type of domain they want to apply it, deploy it, and what sort of a pipeline they have in mind as they're going to iterate on improving those models.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think that pretty much covers all of Ahmed's questions there, and it really does show that our academics support our students to pursue whatever projects they may be interested in using the different tools that they may need to do that. So that's really wonderful to see. Now, I think that's a really nice place to finish as we are just about on time now. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Danny, to Adil, and to Javon as well for your contribution today. The presentation was fantastic and those answers to those questions were very comprehensive. So thank you very much for your time. And you've really been able to showcase our artificial intelligence programs here really, really well at the University of Hull. So thank you very much for your time. For all of our students who've joined us today, thank you for your time as well. We hope that you've learned a lot about our wonderful artificial intelligence programs here at the University of Hull. And for any of those students who may not have submitted an application yet, fingers crossed, you have had all of the information that you require in order to do that. So what we will do is we will wrap things up there, and we will be able to provide you with a recording of today's webinar as well if you do need it in the near future. So please look out for our emails regarding that. But for the moment, we will say thank you very much to everybody, and we hope to maybe see you here on campus here in January 2026. But for the moment, we'll say goodbye and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye.